welcome to Rapid Reviews Radio podcast, episode 334. I'm your co-host, Kiley Wilde, and I'm joined by my ever-present co-host, Peter Beckett.
Hello, we're going to be well behaved this week. I don't know if we will.
It's Jesus' birthday or something. I'm not sure, so we're going to behave, and I'm going to drink slower.
Birthday, Jesus. You come from Bible country. You should know.
I know. I was raised in what's essentially a cult. That's not a joke, by the way. So
no, let's just pull this up. You said 334, not 234.
Wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah, because we're definitely going to get to that point, aren't we?
Hey, we might. Episode 234. There you go. You can cut and paste that later.
No. Moving on.
But this is Easter. I think all around the world. Around the world.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure it's different for each, denomination.
It's a bit different. I will tell you this, as the land that I was raised in, we would not have ever dreamed in a million years of eating lamb on Easter, which is a tradition over here. Because that would be almost sacrilegious, and it made me giggle the first time I was here, and I found out that everyone ate lamb.
It's tradition.
It's tradition here. But as a Bible-thumping evangelical from East Texas, that would be horrifying to eat lamb on Jesus' day. But
you just weren't doing it right.
Yeah. There's another thing, though, that is quite funny. That's different between the American and the British celebrants. The British have what's called Easter eggs, and before you go, no. Settle down, Americans. It's a big chocolate egg. It's massive. Maybe not quite as big as my head.
Well, it never used to be the case, but you used to get, it used to just be one size fits all, basically. Now you get different sizes. You get the small one, the medium, or the large one. The large, the premium one. I think last year or the year before, I had a Ferrero Rocher one. It wasn't as good as it sounds. I was so disappointed with it.
I love Ferrero Rocher, but I can't eat it because it's got wheat in it. But I also have said this before. Cadbury's is the superior chocolate to any American chocolate, any of the waxy, non-sweet American chocolate that I was raised on. Except I love Reese's peanut butter cups. But that's because I love the peanut butter. Which is not real peanut butter. Doesn't matter. None of that matters. What matters is that these are massive chocolate eggs. And in America, you get Easter baskets. Mm-hmm. And yeah, some adults still get it. I don't have a problem with that. Some people get really, really angry.
Adults don't small eggs it. About that big.
You get small chocolate eggs. You get Easter chocolate bunnies, which are usually about this big. You get a
chocolate bunnies are great.
It's more like that, yeah. But you can get massive chocolate bunnies as well, and it becomes kind of a joke, like the bigger you get. That's what she said. So that's a new, well, it's not new because I've been here. I've probably been here longer now in the UK than I lived in the US. I really like this tradition. Please keep doing it forever. I got brought a Cadbury giant massive egg, and it's probably the size of Hitman's head. It is the size of Hitman's head.
That's not that massive. Big.
That's a lot of chocolate, Pete. That's a lot of calories for me.
Yeah, I agree. Which is why I opted out of Easter eggs this year.
The problem is you start on an Easter egg because you have to crack it. That's another thing for Americans. You have to crack it. Because it's like...
Okay, fine. Well, let me ask you, how do you usually crack your egg then?
The first year I was trying to crack it with my fingers, that didn't work. Because Cadbury's is thick. Thick. So now I got to where I just bash it before I open it.
Oh, man, you shouldn't bash it. You should always punch it.
Punch it?
Yeah, you just literally
I'll try to remember that.
Literally, next year, you just straight in the middle. One. That's it.
One punch.
Yeah,
man.
One punch man. You could even do the...
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Just do it with the wave, the cheat.
Yeah, the 1 inch punch.
Yes. But the thing is, I'll start eating it, and I'll get, so into it because it's freaking chocolate and it's Cadbury's, and I love it. And I'm like, I'm going to eat this whole egg. I'm just going to eat it right now. The entire thing. And then I get, like, a few shards, and I said shards, into it. And then I'm like, I'm going to die and get diabetes. And this is making me really kind of loopy.
Yeah,
and then
that's what happens to Rachel as well. So I have to finish off the egg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, and I won't touch it. Then I'm like, I'm done. And so it just sit there if I don't pass it on.
What you do, right, this is why you have the wrapper, is you wrap it back up, you put it in the fridge, and you come back to it another day.
But then it looks all broken and stuff, and I just don't want it.
Moving on, anyway.
But yes, so all of that to say to our lovely listeners and our lovely viewers over at twitch.tv/rapid reviews, that happy Easter. With that said, what I normally do...
Sorry, this just reminds me of something. Somebody in a WhatsApp group that I'm in said, Happy Jewish Zombie Day.
Well, there you go.
I was like, fantastic.
Yes. Oh, I remember now. As the tequila slowly makes its way through my body. This is the time where I usually ask our guests how they've been doing, what they've been playing, but we don't got guests.
You're just stuck with me.
Pete! It's Pete, everyone! How's your week been? What you been playing?
Busy week. Just been doing house stuff more than anything. Getting prepared.
Hello, Mike!
Hello. Getting prepared for a holiday, doing housework to get stuff ready for decorating.
Yeah.
And working.
You're doing grown-up stuff.
Yeah, I've been adulting this week, but that doesn't mean I haven't had a chance to play games.
That's true.
Because I have. Because the great thing about having a Steam Deck means I can play it anywhere.
Nice.
Well, luckily I didn't say I can play with it anywhere, which would have been
yes,
even worse.
I was waiting for you to say that.
I know.
And then you didn't.
I know. I love to disappoint. Anyway, so a couple of games I've been playing this week. I won't talk about the main one that I've been playing because I think you'll cover that in a bit more detail, or we can talk a bit more about it. So I'm continuing on with a couple of games because I haven't played anything new this week. So I told you about this last night, so anyone who was watching the stream last night will know that I'm now done with South of Midnight because I'm now up to the beginning of Chapter 8 and the game is getting very repetitive and quite dull, and I'm quite bored of it. Literally, it is very generic, very formulaic, like, to some degree. Like, You'll go to an area, you have to go and unlock 4 core memories, basically, to get them into a bottle, to then go and run away from a thing, to then go and basically go and help them to help unweave the pain basically that they're experiencing, and then you might have a boss fight. The boss fights are actually not too bad, but it's just the general stuff that you do. Like the enemy archetypes are kind of boring. They're all very generic. Like you get a lot of them, and the story is just complete nonsense. I understand some of the appeal of this is obviously Southern American folklores and tales and stuff like that, and that is somewhat interesting. Like as someone who's an outsider to all of that, who has no idea about it, I find that most of the characters are completely unlikable. That's half the problem behind it. The main character you're playing as is not very likable at all. She's sort of very generic. The dialogue is absolute trash.
That's disappointing.
And the game is stunning to look at, though. At least, like, it's probably one of its biggest upsides is that it looks nice, and in motion, that 30 frames, moving up to 60 during gameplay, is actually really nice to look at. But this does suffer from a game that is more style over substance.
Ooh, right.
So, I'm not going to continue on with this. I did have a look to see how many chapters there was. There were 14. And I'm like, even though the time to complete is about 9 hours, I was like...
Right.
I had a good 2.5 to 3 hour session on it the other day, and I got through about 4 chapters, and I'm like, I think I'm done. I don't know if I can be bothered to go back to this anymore. So, I'll probably just watch the end on YouTube, because, wow. I know that there's not going to be any more time for me to play this when this week you've got another big game coming to Game Pass, which is Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which is going to take up a lot of time.
Yeah, which you're really looking forward to.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I'm going to get it.
It's RPG.
It is.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to have a look at it, so hopefully next week I should have some thoughts on it.
Cool.
So, the other game that I've been continuing on with, and this is mainly playing it through the Steam Deck, is Yakuza 0.
Yes.
I've now done the two initial chapters that you do as Goro Majima. His fighting styles are very unique and very interesting by comparison to Kiryu.
Right.
He has a breakdancing stance, and it is amazing.
That's cool.
The game is set in the
That's
80s because
cool.
breakdancing is obviously all the rage back then.
Right.
Yeah, his stances are awesome. He plays very differently to what Kiryu does.
Right.
And his story arc is somewhat interesting. It's only just getting started, really, to some degree. But it does there is one section that it did really suffer with, and happens at the end of chapter 4. The infamous and notorious that nobody ever likes them in any kind of game, the escort mission.
Yes, it is correct.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. This one probably wasn't as bad as the OG Resident Evil 4 escort missions, but my god, it wasn't good either.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. Really enjoying the game, though, and as someone who's new to Yakuza 0, I can see myself playing. Like, I'm going to continue playing this. I've got a long old flight coming up, so that'll be more time to play on that, and all the other Yakuza games are basically downloaded, ready to play, so I'm going to try and steam through them. Yeah.
Very good.
Anyway, that's my week. Well, apart from one, but you'll talk more about that.
Yeah, I'll be talking about that.
Yeah, so how are you? How's your week been? What have you been playing? What have you been doing?
Well, first off, I want to read what Nana said, because I forgot to address this last week. I think outside of the stuff I usually play, and also Grapple Dog, is that I watched the Mario movie since it was on Netflix. Oh, yeah. It's still my favorite video game movie. Now, that's cool. That's cool.
I am not going to lie. I've seen the Mario movie 3 times now, because I watched it.
Of course you have.
Well, I watched it on Blu-ray a couple of times.
Right. Of course.
I think it's story light, but it doesn't need to be.
Oh yeah.
Visually speaking, it is stunning, and it's really good.
Yeah.
I really hope that they delve a bit more into backstory and actually have more of a plot in the second movie.
Yeah. They probably will.
I hope so.
You would think. But what I meant to say last week also is that I really like Grapple Dogs. That's really what I meant to say.
I didn't particularly like the first one that much, but the second one, the demo I played at WASD was fun. I do own it, and I'm due to play it. I've got to play it at some point. It's in my backlog of shame.
Mike says, still a great movie. I watched it on March 10th. I like that. That's like a tradition. Yes, that's very cool. Oh yeah, so my week's boring. I don't do anything. Went to the gym.
Yeah.
Live life, blah blah blah. Was it life, live, love?
Yeah.
Is that the thing? Whatever the fuck.
So.
Oops. Whoopsie.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one, Peter. But
no, but you've just taken the one for everyone because you used the F word.
I did. I used the big dirty. But
no, because if you would have used the C bomb, then that would have been an instant explicit.
That's true. But I played a game on Monday, which I keep struggling to remember how to say. Echo Point Nova. I remembered it. Echo Point Nova.
That's funny because I was going to help you there because I've got it written down.
Oh, very good for you. The thing is, okay, here's the thing. Tanker says, and cut. And Mike says, pack your bags, everyone. It's all over now. I know. I can't believe I did that. But, I mean, also, I can.
No, we went off the rails last week. You're probably still in that mode.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, probably. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, Echo Point Nova. The thing about that is, I really enjoy running and gunning. I like FPSs, obviously. Like, that's my thing. I like to shoot things. I really like flying in the air and shooting things. The problem with today's games, because, Mike says, where we're going, Marty, we don't need rails. And then the music plays. But yes, it's one of my favorite movies. But yeah, there's so many things like grapple hooks and jetpacks and this and that and double jumps with the flip and all this kind of stuff. And the thing is, I just want something intuitive, and I'm hoping that the new Doom is going to be intuitive. I want something intuitive that I can just shoot things and then jump where I need to jump. I don't mind a little grappling here and there, but don't give me a grapple and a jetpack. My brain's just not, my brain has to stop and think about every single thing. And I want something that I can just automatically, do, especially like an online shooter, a multiplayer or something like that. I don't want to think. And I kind of got that way with Destiny 2, although Destiny 2 still had some extra like weapons wheels and stuff you do have to do, but I don't want all that. I don't want all the fluff and stuff. It's not a bad game. It's a good game.
Just play. Just give me gun.
Point and click.
Let me shoot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good. It's on sale on Steam. It's good. But see, Nana says what I'm hoping, which is the new Doom does seem like you just shoot things. I hope so.
You either shoot things or you shield things.
Yeah. And then on Wednesday, we played a one-shot that I've wanted to play for so long. So long, which is I Am Bread. I Am Bread is one of those very goofy, insane games that's on the level of Goat Simulator.
Okay.
Because you play like you're a piece of bread. And
yeah, I saw the thumbnail.
Mm-hmm. And I do love toast, as we know. Mostly we spent the first 30 minutes talking about bread and how awesome bread is, which was a lot of fun for me, especially being celiac. But they do make gluten-free bread, so hey. It had a lot of like mini games in it and different game styles and stuff like that. It's a good little thing for what it is, but it's something that I'll probably play off stream. Mm-hmm. But I knew that. I knew it was just gonna be a one shot anyway. And then Friday, I started not rapid reviews. I started Resident Evil 8. And it was lovely and wonderful. And I still enjoy the game. Chat was wonderful. About 30 minutes in, I was like, I gotta go. Turns out I had stomach virus.
Lovely.
I had to cut the stream short. I'm very sad about that. But it's still Resident Evil 8. It's still amazing. Or Village, whichever one you want to call it. So we'll be continuing that because it's just fun. Mm. It just works. And then Saturday, of course, Pete and I played, we're getting close to the end.
We're really close to the end.
Yeah. But we did play 3 hours of it.
Yeah, and we would have gone longer had it not been for the fact that it was like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, my brain was just shutting down.
Yeah, mine too.
But I'll say this, which we do say a lot on that stream. Joseph Ferris is not subtle.
No, the least subtle game of all time.
Very least subtle game of all time. I think that there's some unnecessarily padding in sections that wasn't needed. For some reason, we got something like 3 side quests or side stories or whatever in this particular level, which is a bit overkill in my opinion.
Look, I like the side stories though, because it just helps flesh everything out a bit more.
I normally do, because I do like switching between different game styles and stuff. I like that. I didn't like the Superman 64.
Oh, I know you didn't.
Race through the rings level, because I say this a lot, my poor chat are so tired of hearing it, but I don't have good depth perception.
Yeah, I agree.
It causes all kinds of I was like, oh no, I'm going to be here forever.
The thing that I quite liked about it though was the fact that on It Takes Two and A Way Out, you had mini games which were actually more competing, and this was one that sort of reminisced back to the fact that you did that sort of thing, because it was a race. And I did quite like the fact that it was just a fun, non-competitive, competitive side story.
Yeah, exactly. I have to say it's laid out really well. I did very, very much enjoy. I think it was about ghost cats, but I really enjoyed the moles dressed as witches. It was adorable.
Which is half the reason why it took us so damn long, because you were mucking around with potions for ages.
I did. I had to try all of the potions, which were amazing, and then you got to shoot a firework, and I accidentally shot a little baby mole's balloon out of his hand and started crying.
Yet.
I thought I was gonna jump off the cliff because I was so sad, but then I gave him a balloon back and it's fine. But
and then I blew you up with a rocket.
And then he blew me up with a rocket. But I did enjoy that section. I've just now put together in real time that I think that Split Fiction is about AI writing.
Which was so incredibly obvious even from the beginning, with the fact that Joseph Fares is not subtle at all.
I am gullible and I'm not good at subtlety or hints. You have to be very, very blunt with me. Just be like,
really?
Bam!
I would never have guessed.
It's the Asperger's. You have to tell me exactly what you mean, or it's gonna go whoop. Yeah, so it took that long for me to figure out it's about AI writing in games. But hopefully we'll finish that up, and then we'll move on to something else. I think that's it.
That was it. Yeah, I think that's all.
But I think that was it for my... Now we gotta start the show.
Yeah,
this is gonna be...
So when it comes to Split Fiction, we'll agree on day, hopefully next week, so I've got a few days.
Yeah, and then it'll be the end. If anybody wants to redeem a glass, I'll take it. But we are going to move swiftly on because this is a short episode because Pete's got guests, and I am just...
And it's Easter.
But I'm always like that. It's Easter, and I probably should go eat chocolate, and once I eat chocolate, I'm out.
Yeah, of course.
I'll be in a chocolate coma. So, Pete, what have you got for us today?
News.
News? What? I can't believe it.
I know. It's almost like the next couple of shows are going to be news before we go on a 3-week break. So yeah. Wanted to start out with a couple of smaller stories before we hit into probably what was the biggest story of the week. The first one, we're going to talk about UK game developers.
Ooh.
Okay. And we're also going to talk about Game Pass.
Oh, yes.
So,
Game Pass.
because there was a recent game that was made by UK developer Rebellion known as Atomfall.
I never heard of that, Pete.
If you know anything about Atomfall, you know it was launched on Game Pass as well as other platforms.
Yeah.
So this is a quote that comes from the Rebellion CEO, Jason Kingsley. Launching into Game Pass has been, quote, a huge success for the survival game Atomfall.
Now, what do they say how they're measuring success?
I'm getting into that.
Okay.
So, obviously, if you don't know, Atomfall's set in an alternate post-apocalyptic 1960s Cumbria in England. And it has attracted 2 million players since launch.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. So, yeah, speaking to GI.biz, Kingsley claimed this was in large parts helped by the marketing support and discoverability boost of Game Pass. So, this quote, it says, "It's been a huge success. Microsoft has been a fantastic partner to work with. They've really leaned into helping us. They brought their skills and their scale to bear on our small project, and it's done really, really well for them. So they got a good deal, and we got a good deal out of it." Quote, "With Game Pass, you can get people to try it. Then, as a result of those people trying it, they like it, and then they tell their mates on social media, I found this game on Game Pass. I really enjoyed it. You should give it a go." And then some of them are on Game Pass and will play it, and some of them aren't on Game Pass and will also want to be part of the conversation, so they'll go and buy it, which is obviously where the PlayStation 5 and the PC versions come into that effect. At least that's our theory. We don't have the data in for that, but Chris and I both feel one of the biggest challenges for a company like us is discovery, and Game Pass has allowed for a lot of discovery for our game. So
that's not how I'd measure success, but you go, guys.
No, so Kingsley said that there was other benefits to launching into Game Pass beyond discoverability, such as Microsoft's financial guarantees and the, quote, confidence booster it gave its interest gave the team. So, quote, "Yes, it does mitigate risks, because without going into details, they guarantee you a certain level of income, regardless of what it will sell for.
I knew it.
But
they're not making any money, Pete.
Anyway, but it potentially has a knock-on effect. Quote.
Yeah.
Places like Xbox sales, for example, you could argue that all the hardcore are on Game Pass, and they're the ones that might buy a new IP like this. So therefore, are you cannibalizing one section of the audience? And I think perhaps yes, a little bit, but what you gain from that cost is disproportionate.
Nope. But I'm a business person, so I see it very
of course, they've obviously got a bag from Microsoft. It probably wasn't quite the same as what they would have got, from outright sales. But then this is what you swing this on the other hand. How much discoverability would this game have had it not been on Game Pass? I know, obviously, they were in Summer Games Fest. They had a good showing there because it was intriguing enough, and obviously, being the developers behind the Sniper Elite series, it is something that would pique some people's interest.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to disagree with the fact that Game Pass definitely helped elevate its name, per se.
Well, what they're essentially doing, remember I have to see this in very business terms, that's the only way I look at things, is they've traded their marketing budget. They probably have very, very little marketing budget now. They've traded their marketing budget. They've sacrificed it.
Yeah.
To go on Game Pass.
They probably did. So yeah, obviously they would have got, like you said, some money from obviously Microsoft to help with that. Because they're not the ones marketing. Microsoft would be doing the marketing for them.
Exactly. I don't personally... It all depends on how you judge success, because a lot of people have different markers for what is considered, especially where games are concerned, what's considered a successful game. Is it just eyes on it? Is it just player base? Is it whatever? Now, in these economic uncertain times, I get that for good PR, they have to grasp at any positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's always going to be money. Did it make money? It does not sound like it made money at all.
No, but if
the
you've
language they're using.
But that's the thing is that if you've had 2 million players, you don't know what the split is, obviously, between PlayStation 5 and PC as well.
You don't. That is very true.
The metric that you could do to obviously check that is to check the Steam all-time player base. Mm-hmm. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's all-time people playing it, because that might actually just count for people who have bought the game but not started it yet.
Well, I was going to say, and also that doesn't break into who got it for free, who got it bought for them, who got it gift, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course, but sales are sales regardless when it comes to those platforms. Whereas Game Pass is obviously the metric that you can't go into, because until the game comes off of a service like that and is at a discount, that's when you can start looking at the metrics for it in terms of raw sales. And there are people. Let's not lie. There are people out there who do actually buy games on Xbox despite it being on Game Pass.
There are. There's very few, but Pete's not incorrect. There are, and you do get a discount if you buy the game. You've bought games.
Forza Horizon 4 was being taken off there, so I bought the Ultimate Edition before it left.
Well, there you go. So it does work for some people. Because you do get a discount.
So it depends on whether or not a game is being delisted, because something like Forza Horizon 4 was heavily discounted because of that reason. Right. So I got the Ultimate Edition, I think, for about £12.
That probably didn't actually go to sales figures. Think about it.
Well, because it was through the Microsoft Store, yes, it would have done.
Yeah, but I don't know. As a consumer, I love Game Pass. Don't lie. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a good consumer move to some degree.
Love it. Yeah, it's very consumer friendly. As a business person, it's terrible. It is a death knell. Why would you put your game on, unless you are Microsoft itself, why would you put your game on Game Pass? You're not going to make any money off of it, as proven here. If you're an unknown title or an indie title, I get that the appeal is massive. And like they say in the article, I'm quite shocked that they use this phrasing because it's the exact thing. Confidence booster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it boosts your confidence and there's 2 million people playing your game. But if only 10% of that bought your game, what good is having 2 million players or whatever it was?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
But again, I'm thinking like a business person, so if it sounds harsh, it sounds black and white thinking, that's really where I'm coming from. I'm not putting down the game. I love the game. I love it more than I love Fallout 4. I enjoy it very much. And I love Rebellion. Don't get me wrong. I love their stuff. It's hilarious. I mean, it's not, you know what I mean. It's interesting. I like Sniper Elite when you do bollock shots. It's hilarious.
Of course. So now what I think from this is that they would have done the metrics on what kind of reach they would have made in terms of sales.
Yeah.
And then when Microsoft come along and go, we want to offer you this, put it on Game Pass, they would have gone, well, how many sales are we taking away from that? And obviously the figure that they would have got probably would have hindered on the fact that they would have calculated the number of possible Xbox sales that they would have had.
Well, see, that's what you're doing is when you put your game, when you list your game with Xbox or with Game Pass, you are taking a risk in that you're almost automatically guaranteeing your game is not going to be a big seller. I'm using the word seller, not big, not popular, not game based, not all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to sell for the most part. And stuff like that. I find this entire their press release, it tickles me only because that's my background is marketing. I've got like over 20 years in marketing, which is insane. I was doing that because I was writing a CV for myself. And I was like, but yeah, 20 years in marketing, over 20 years in marketing. That language tickles me. Because for them to actually say, it's confidence building, and it's this and it's that, they're telling you, and they're telling me, and they're telling all of us, it didn't make any money, but it's really popular. And again, some people judge success by that, and that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't personally do that. Mine is bottom line. Are you in debt? Is your product now, are you in debt with your product? If you're not in debt, you're a success.
Yeah.
That's how.
And I think that's the one thing that we'll never find out about is how much what the development cost of this game was by comparison to raw sales. And
Pete is correct. That stuff we'll never find out. But anyway, that's my soapbox for this week.
Speaking about things that
still love that game.
Speaking about things that possibly make money or cost money, and will cost money. Let's talk about this, shall we? Because this one caused a bit of stir this week. Because Sony, hooray for Sony. Or not, have announced that it has increased the price of the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition in some regions.
Yes!
And was effective immediately.
Yes, which is insane.
So we will get into this because there was something else that happened as a result of it as well. So the only thing I'm going to talk about I'm going to carry on with it. The disc drive did actually go down in price. Because that makes it all the better, anyway.
That's so very strange.
I'm taking the piss anyway. So the PS5 Digital Edition now costs €499.99 in Europe, and while in the UK it costs £429.99 in British pounds, and that is an increase of £40. However, this isn't the first time this has happened because there was a previous increase done in 2022. So the console originally cost £359.99 in the UK, so it's now had a £70 increase since its launch in 2020, which is strange.
Which is insane!
Which is utterly ridiculous because consoles usually go down in prices the longer they go on.
Exactly.
As parts become cheaper to manufacture.
Yes, exactly. Pete is correct. It's insane. We're an upside down world.
I know. I'm gonna make a speculation in a minute anyway. So, so the standard PS5 and the PS5 Pro will not increase in price in the UK or Europe for now. Australia and New Zealand are also getting price increases today. So both the digital and standard PS5 consoles. I'm not going into the pricing because I don't know if we even have any Australia or New Zealand listeners, watchers. But anyway,
I actually don't know.
I don't know. One thing that we get in a price cut, I did say, is the PS5 disc drive, which will be dropping to $69.99 in the UK or $79.99 in Europe. So, shall we hear what the Vice President of Global Marketing, Isabel Tomatis, said?
Sure.
With a backdrop of a challenging economic environment, including high inflation and fluctuating exchange rates, SIE has made the tough decision to raise the recommended retail price, RRP, of the PlayStation 5 console in select markets in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, as well as Australia and New Zealand. Anyway, I don't want to read any more of this.
Okay.
This be depressing.
It's crap. Yeah, it's crap. Yeah. You would be better off. This is not financial advice. Please do not take this as advice. There's my disclaimer.
Rubber Reviews UK is not responsible for any financial advice or whatever.
Not responsible for anything that comes out of Kiley's mouth.
Rubber Reviews UK is not responsible for what any of us comes out of either of our mouths.
It's true.
Please take everything with a massive grain of salt or a landfill of salt.
Or a tequila shot with lemon and salt. Shot. Go to freaking Cash Converters or CEX even. CEX is only about 20 quid cheaper.
I was going to say, I can guarantee that they're not much cheaper.
No, they're not.
For a second-hand unit.
No. But Cash Converters is pretty good. If you're in America, do a pawn shop.
Which is what Cash Converters is.
Basically, that's what it is.
It's
less
not even
predatory.
Basically, it is.
No. It's less predatory than pawn shops are in the U.S. because, the U.S. is insane.
So what you're saying to me is that TV show Pawn Shop wasn't actually real.
Yeah, that's so fake. It's like
I'll give you $5 for it.
Yeah, it's so. But anyway, all that say, yeah, do it. You're not. They're not. It's not different. You know what I mean? Like if you go back and you get like when the X-Bone was out. If you got like an old X-Bone at the Cash Converters or whatever, it did have a little bit of different insides, a little bit not out of date, but it was behind from the other ones. Yeah, and whereas this is just, they're literally the same machines.
Yeah. So whilst you're correct, technically you are somewhat incorrect.
Technically, it's the best correct.
No. So the Xbox One had the same components as the Xbox One S, but they're mostly the same components within the Xbox One X except for the processor.
Okay, yeah, I knew it was something. I knew it was something
there was
minor.
one,
it was something minor.
But it was the same, basically the same RDNA technology, I think.
But with that said, this is crap. This is why I don't own a PlayStation 5. I'm never going to own one. I have no plans to ever own one.
I would show my PlayStation 5 sitting over there. Can't be bothered to move the camera.
There you go.
Or it just doesn't exist because I sold it.
There you go. Yes.
Whichever.
But
it's currently Schrodinger's PS5.
Yes. It both exists and doesn't exist until Pete turns the camera. Yes. I was going to say something. I don't remember. I don't have any more to say about this.
No, this is utter nonsense. This is the most ridiculous thing that I read all week and was like, the hell is wrong with them? But I have some speculation.
Yes.
I'm going to run on this. I reckon that some of the reason behind this price increase is because the PS5 Pro is absolutely bombed. And they're trying to recoup costs of it.
No, you're exactly right. They are definitely recouping a loss somewhere. So you're not wrong. Because you wouldn't do this. You would never go up in price.
No, and like we said, this has always been the case.
Consumer logic.
No, so you look at... Alright, let me do a visual show. Hang on. 2 secs. You carry on talking. Carry on. I'm going to go into my drawer of goodness.
Peter's
Where is it?
going into his drawers.
There we are.
We might have to do an explicit tag anyway.
Huzzah.
Well, he's found whatever he's looking for. Oh, yes! Aww.
Sorry. Need to grab this.
Totes adorbs.
So, this, for visual peoples, So I'm going to explain it for the listeners. This is the PS1, not the PlayStation. The PS1.
Yes.
So this was the revision of the original PlayStation console. It's a smaller, slimmer version. It's just why it's known as the PS1 or the PlayStation Slim.
Yes, I remember when it came out.
When it first came out, this was much less than the launch version ever was, even though it has the exact same components.
Yep. But it is sleeker, it is smaller.
It's sleeker, it's smaller, and it also had the ability to have have a screen on it as well, which was great for car trips. But considering it has the exact same gubbins in it, the exact same technology in it, it was notoriously cheaper, one, because it was smaller form factor, but also because parts became cheaper. The parts became cheaper over the course of the however many years that it had been developing the PlayStation until the PS1 came out. And I think the PS1 came out around 98 or 99, so around the end of the generation, actually.
It came out towards the end.
Yeah, but that's when you could put things out for a ridiculous price. Look at the GameCube as well. So the GameCube came out at $200 in the US. By the time it was basically the Wii was coming out, you could buy that console, mostly because it flopped to some degree, but you could buy that console for about $50.
They marked it way down, and I remember it was a big deal because Walmart marked it way down before Christmas.
Yes.
So a lot of people got them that year, but I mean, obviously they were outdated and stuff like that. But I remember that very, very much. I'm old.
Decrease the price, not increase it.
I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I've been through every iteration since the Atari 2600.
Well, I was alive for that part, but obviously, the Atari wasn't as massive over here. Been through various different home computer generations,
That's right. You guys had so many more different options. We didn't have those.
Yeah, the Amstrad CPC, the BBC Micro, the Amiga, and the ZX Spectrum.
All we had was the Atari. That's what everyone had. But even then, I was still, I was a small little, when it came out. But
you're a wee knitter.
Yes. Hard to believe, but yes. I've been through all of them. I do not ever remember. I don't say that it hasn't happened. I don't remember a price increase ever.
Nope.
Ever.
Now, in my long run of console generations, starting probably from the, let's say, when I was more conscious of video games, Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
So now that was back in the day. It was PlayStation that mainly started the revisions. The changes of hardware.
That's right. Because that was insane.
Yeah, it was like, what, you're actually going to...
It's already been... Yeah.
But it was ridiculously smaller and and then it became the industry
Nobody
standard
will
because
buy
everyone
this.
did it. So it was only, I think it was Nintendo embraced it with the Wii because they did revisions of the Wii for some reason.
They did. I've got both versions.
They obviously had the two different form factors. I say the two different form factors, the two different SKUs for the Wii U, and the Switch obviously had multiple different versions from the Lite to the OLEDs to the standard. The Xbox 360 had a stupid amount of revisions, including the S. I love the fact that I've got these on hand.
It's like I've got several.
Yeah.
Where is my PS1? Oh, look at that! I do have the little tiny. Just because I need to show it off because it's so tiny.
Oh, the PS2 Slim. Which is absolutely ridiculous that it never, you actually couldn't get the original multi-taps to work on them. You had to buy a new multi-tap, which is so stupid.
But I have the PS1s and stuff, and I just don't have them out for some reason.
Yeah, Danker is correct. Also, the Xbox the Xbox 360e, the S, God knows what other
the Halo edition,
the other editions that they had. But you remember that big old chunky Xbox 360 with the big old horrible hard drive at the top of it.
Yes, which again I do have that. I don't have it out, but
Oh,
I do have that.
I don't, because I got the S, which is so much better and sleeker and didn't have a red ring issue.
This is what happened. I had the red ring issue, sent it back, and they sent me the newer, sleeker one. Which was fine with me. I was okay with that.
Yeah, I was more than happy with it. Yeah. Dan could put it, Chungus. It's a big old Chungus. Anyway, but yeah, so Microsoft only did that because obviously parts were cheaper and it was, they were trying to sell consoles. PlayStation did it with the PS3 that had the original fat model, the George Foreman grill.
Yes.
And then they had the slim versions, and multiple slim versions, which then ended up leading to that console selling about 80 or... Was it 80 something million? It ended up overtaking the Xbox 360 in the end.
It's the most, forever it was the most popular console ever in the whole wide world.
No, it was always the PS2.
I thought it was PS3.
No, PS2 is still the top seller with 100.
Is it really?
Between 150 and 160 million.
Wow, really.
The PS3 is, I think, is the only console that Sony have released that hasn't cracked 100 million.
Oh, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but it still ended up overtaking lifetime sales of the Xbox 360 in the end because of the revisions.
Yes, it did.
But it was also the revisions cost less, not more.
Yeah.
We've looped back to it. That's the point of it. Yeah, we were going on an exercise here.
Yeah, that's true. And then it says until the Switch beats it, but then Sony will find units from somewhere.
Which they've technically already have done. Because it was 150 something million for ages, and then they were like, "Well, it's 160." They probably sold a few thousand in Brazil that are still selling it.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
this is stupid.
Stupid and dumb.
Sony are not helping themselves.
Nope.
Anyway.
No.
Speaking about companies that are not really helping themselves, let's talk about Nintendo.
Okay. Nintendo.
Yeah, yes. So we all know that Mario Kart World was announced. Obviously, the Switch 2 was announced, and we know that there is 2 SKUs for the console, which is the normal one, and then the Mario Kart bundle, which comes in at about £30-something more than the original SKU, but about £35 cheaper than actually buying the game on its own.
Right.
Well, the Nintendo Switch 2 bundle with Mario Kart World may not still be available to buy at Christmas, apparently, according to Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Woo. The bundle, which consists of the Switch 2 console and a download code, will only be available for a limited time. I'll get to this, I've got theories. Anyway, so let's going to talk about the Direct. I'm just going to spoil the next one. That's our next story, so I'm not going into any more details about this. It said, when the console bundle was shown during the Direct, the small print on the screen led limited time production through fall 2025, available while stocks last. The small print suggests that Nintendo will stop producing the bundle edition either in full, meaning it may still be available to buy one around Christmas if the stock is still available. If, however, the stock sells out before then, it appears that Nintendo will not be replenishing it with new stock. Instead, customers will have to buy the standalone Switch 2 console, buy a bundle set up by a retailer, or hope Nintendo will release a different bundle later in the year, potentially with a different game included. So yeah, I'm not going into that because obviously that's talking about the Direct itself. So that was actually going to be my theory, is that there'll be new bundles. They will constantly change the bundles out. So they will have a bundle that is running at that £430 price point, but the game will change out. So next time it might be the DK bundle, or it might be the Metroid Prime bundle, because it seems suspicious that it's only until fall and we actually haven't had a release date for Metroid Prime 4 yet.
Yeah.
Curious.
Good point.
So, yeah, I think the next bundle will be the Metroid Prime 4 bundle, and it's, let's be honest, how hard is it really to bundle in a digital code within a Switch 2? Not really. It's a piece of paper with a code on it. All they have to do is just go, oh, look, we've got some standalone ones here. let's take that one out, remove the packaging, and then slap a sticker on it with the game on it.
Yes.
I mean, cardboard is somewhat cheap. It's not hard to reprint.
I'm so just tired of capitalism. No, I'm kidding.
It is stupid. I don't really understand this. This is like one of your biggest selling, will be one of your biggest selling games. Why don't you just have that bundle available all the time? And then go, yes. Oh look, we've got a new bundle that's coming out, as well as the Mario Kart bundle.
Yeah.
Nintendo is stupid sometimes, honestly, and I think the problem with this is that they're starting to go towards that. Oh well, we've got a high-selling console again. Well, we can do stupid things.
Well, but remember, we've said it 1,000 times. That was Sony's problem, is they got arrogant.
Oh, I know, but remember that technically they did. I wouldn't say they got arrogant with the Wii U, but they got a bit too complacent with the Wii U.
They did, yeah, which is so strange. But anyway, yeah, we've rehashed that many times.
Yeah, so this is dumb.
It's dumb. Also, I assume we're going to be wrapping up soon.
Yeah, we've got one story to talk about.
Oh, okay. Did we for our audience at home, I forgot to ask what the stories were this week.
You never ask.
But I don't. I just like a surprise. But did you want to talk about the galaxies, which is apparently a very not pushed very much, which is weird, not marketed much, Twitch video game showcase?
The what?
Yes! I was so angry.
Sorry.
Twitch had a showcase. Twitch had a video game showcase. Didn't market it. Most of the trailers we'd already seen. But I'm very annoyed. Very annoyed that they did not market this. And I'm on Twitch constantly because obviously I stream.
Sorry, I'm not. I've literally just.
I know.
I can't see anything at all.
It's insane. But it's galaxies with like IES as opposed to galaxy. Again, it's not gonna. It's no new announcements or anything like that. But I'm very, very annoyed at that.
Oh.
Especially if we're gonna like.
The Galaxies Game Showcase. Okay.
Yeah, never heard of it. Didn't know it existed. Very annoyed that we were never told.
Oh yeah, because RuneScape Dragon Wilde's got shadow dropped into it from it, didn't it?
Oh, thank you so much, Tanker. Yeah, but that's the only big announcement was RuneScape, which I didn't know. I mean, I know people.
Yeah, it's an independent. It looks like it's an independent showcase by the looks of it. So yeah, it was.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it was just streamed on Twitch.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's me corrected, but still. And yeah, Denker's linked the Steam games that were for show.
Cool.
Or, you know what I mean. This is my last drink for the night. I know exactly, Nana. It's my thought too.
Yeah. Anyway, one final story for the week because we've already said it. Mario Kart World Direct.
Yes.
So Mario Kart World had a direct that was about 15 minutes long, where they were talking about the vast majority of features that are going to be available through the game. So let's talk about it, shall we? So Nintendo shared information on Mario Kart World, including various features and modes. So in the new direct focused solely on the game, they revealed that some of the game's new courses, including retro-themed Mario Brothers Circuit, the Urban Crown City, canal-based Salty Speedway, and Snowy Starview Peak, as well as a new haunted course called Boo Cinema. Boo Cinema actually does look really cool. There's a section where you jump into it and you're actually in film grain.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So now I knew about some of this already because of my play session. Although I'll get to some of it in a minute because some of it was revealed to be new. I must have been playing an older demo version of it, which is fine. New items set to feature in the game include the coin shell, which fires ahead, leaving coins behind. So it can hit you, but it will leave coins so you can obviously get faster speed. The ice flower. So rather than the fire flower, you got an ice flower. Hammers. Right. So they fly on an arc and wedges into the ground for a while. So obviously like with Hammer Bros from the Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
And the Kamek, which transforms opponents. Which is strange because you've got a Kamek item, and also Kamek is a playable character, which is going to be very, very strange.
Oh, that is weird.
The Mega Mushroom and the Flower, or the Feather, sorry. So the Mega Mushroom hasn't been around since Mario Kart Wii, and the Feather hasn't actually made an appearance, I don't think, since Super Mario Kart.
Oh, interesting.
So very unusual. I got to use the Feather. The Feather was cool. I was happy to see it return. Anyway, so Nintendo also detailed how outfits will work in the game. So this was somewhat different to how I explained it on the Nintendo Switch 2 video. Go look at the Nintendo Switch 2 video on the Rapid Reviews UK YouTube channel.
That's what I was going to say a second ago.
Races will feature dash food, by collecting and eating it, characters will transform into an outfit related to that food. So, for example, if you eat sushi, you'll wear a Japanese outfit. Once an outfit has been unlocked, it becomes available for use in the character select screen. Now, it is different, but it is also similar to how it was. I think, from what I saw on the character select screen when I played it, they have different attributes. So I saw a Mario that had an all-terrain sort of attribute to it. So, I don't know. So, new tricks confirmed include the charge jump. I never saw this or didn't even know this existed within the game. So, what you can do is you can hold the jump. There is a jump button, I believe. So, the same button you would use to do tricks. Hold it and you can actually jump from the ground. And once you hit the ground, you get a boost. It might also be an interesting way to avoid items. So, or to get to various different obstacles throughout the way, such as grind rails, walls, everything as such. Or to get over certain points in the free roam mode.
Right, okay.
So it can be used for leaping over objects, like I just said, so jump and wall jumps. You also have the ability to rewind gameplay if a trick or shortcut was missed. Now, this is unusual because it only affects you, not the other players. So you can sacrifice your position to be able to get a shortcut during live races. Right. Strange.
Okay.
I think it's a cool idea, but I don't know why anyone would use this in a competitive race.
Yeah, exactly. I'm confused by that.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
So they went into more details about the free roam option. So this is obviously where you can do it either solo or multiplayer with other players. The people speculating about how this might be similar to the adventure mode on Diddy Kong Racing. Not quite, but nearly. Because it was shown in more detail, players can move freely around the map. And they can also hit things such as P-switches to start missions, as well as find hidden coins, hidden panels, and more. So there'll be actual activities to do across the world as well, which would be apparently I think there's like, I can't remember how many said. They said probably there's about 100 or so hidden coins and panels and stuff like that. So there's quite a lot to do even in free roam mode, even if you're just scouting the tracks themselves. The game will support 4-player split screen in a single Switch console, local wireless for up to 8 players, with up to 2 players able to play on each system, so 4 consoles with 2 on each, for example. Online races will support 24. They did also say as well that the wireless function, I don't know why it's not noted in here, only one person does need to own the game.
Ooh, right, okay.
So I remember this working in a similar way with the DS, where the game Mr. Driller on there had the wireless function. One person owned the game, but you had a very slimmed down version of the game. Right, so you only had like one course, and that was all you could play. But it was a very extensive course. Oh, but it was cool. Right. Whether or not they do something similar to that, I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see on it. But it is something that Nintendo have done on previous consoles.
Right, okay.
So this is something that will obviously return from Mario Kart 8. So driving assist controls will be returning, including smart steering and tilt controls. They also showed off the Joy-Con 2 wheel accessory, but I had already seen it.
Yes.
But it was nice for them to actually, show it off to people who hadn't had the chance to go to the Switch 2 experience. Yeah. This is now just going into like guff from the rest of sort of basically PR spin for the game, and that's it.
Yes.
But yeah, so there was actually there was a lot shown, but also the feedback that was coming through from a lot of people online, let's just say from Twitter, Blue Sky, and places like that, was this is good and all, but is this $80 good? And most would go,
good question.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I will state that I got several messages after the direct from people like Mike Tendo, from Barry and Impact Game Station, Gorney. Gorney's quite happy because there was a pirate costume announced, and there is a Goomba in the game, so that means
that's right.
The potential for there being a pirate Goomba outfit is very high. He was happy. One of the messages I got from Barry was, this is probably the best Mario Kart ever. And I'm probably going to go on a limb and say, from what I played of it, yes, this is going to be one of the best Mario Karts out there.
You heard it here.
One of the things that they always do well in Mario Kart is it's always an advancement on the previous game. Always feels like with any other Mario platformer, it always just feels like the core gameplay, but a massive advancement.
Right.
And this is probably the biggest advancement that they've made in the Mario Kart series since Double Dash.
Wow. Well, Nana says they made Forza Horizon and put it in a Mario Kart game.
I don't disagree. But you also,
nice.
I think also the fact that they've taken some, I wouldn't say artistic licenses, but they have also used some inspiration for other things, such as the free roaming from Crash Team Racing. Which, if the adventure mode on that game is basically an open world and you go and drive up to the courses. So, it's not new to a kart racing game. They're not touting all of this to be new additions. They're not touting this to be new systems. Like, these are unique to no other kart racing game in the world.
Yeah.
No, that it's basically Nintendo's spin on it. And what will shine through the most, and this is what shined through in my playtime with it, is that this is about how it feels. Like it has done with any other Mario Kart game, like it's done with any Mario platformer. It's about how it feels when it plays, and this plays amazingly well. It's not, I still don't agree it's 80 quid or $80 worth of amazing, but it is a damn fine experience.
Very cool.
Yeah, okay. I didn't talk about it, obviously, last week that I went to the Switch 2 experience, but that was because I was working hard in the editing room for a video.
Yep, it's true.
Which is out. Go and check it out.
Go check it out, folks.
It's only about 10 minutes long. After all the hours that I spent actually editing it.
I know. that right there, that's the problem. Anyway,
God, I've never realised before how annoying it is to record video. It's so annoying, isn't it? Because you went, Jesus Christ, you were doing your Doom Eternal one, and you told me so many times, you were like, I've had to re-record this. I was like, it can't be that hard to read off a script, can it?
No. Yeah. Mike says I should check. I've checked it out at least twice.
Oh, yes.
And I read the article.
Actually, this is my moment to sort of say, please go and check out the article on Rapid Reviews UK as well, because the video is also embedded in there. I did a companion piece on Mike Tendo 64 talking about raw thoughts as I'd returned. There is also a write-up linking to all of it on Mike Tendo 64 as well, and they've been posting up over-the-shoulder videos, like unedited videos from the event itself. So, and that was the deal that I had for taking Jack along. So thanks to Jack and Mike for obviously helping out across the way, because Mike helped with the editing as well by sending me all the photos that I needed.
Oh, excellent.
So,
very cool.
Collaborative effort between us and Mike Tendo 64, so please go and check those guys out. But that's us for this week. That's the news.
Woo! Good. Because I need a nap now.
I need a nap.
But, and Mike says you're most welcome, Pete. That's going to do it for us, because it's a quickie this week. But
that's what she said.
That's what she said. Pete, where can they find you out there in Neverland?
You can find me in the editing room, because that seems to be where I spend most of my time these days.
There you go.
No, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone that's checked out the video, the article, and also the Crimson Desert playthrough, because, oh boy, has that done some numbers, which is a bit weird.
It really has.
So, thanks for checking that out, and thanks for posting it and doing what you've done, because views have gone up on the channel on YouTube, and it's much appreciated, and thank you for the support. But yeah, you can find me on social media. Not really.
Question mark?
I'm there, but not. Via the Rapid Reviews UK Twitter and Blue Sky accounts. But you can mostly hear me on the Never Watchers podcast, which is a film and TV podcast that I do with Kurt Lewin. Originally, we had planned to do a live recording this weekend, but plans have changed and we're no longer making our way up to Birmingham because of an unfortunate situation. But that's fine. We will be probably coming back at some point this week with an episode, or next week. I think it's probably going to be Daredevil Born Again, but we'll talk about that. But the next movie we had decided on is A Few Good Men.
Right.
And we're going to be watching that at some point, but who knows when that's going to come out, because like this show, it will be going on hiatus for a few weeks whilst I go and recharge the batteries.
Yep.
So yeah, Kylie, where can they find you and all your streamage? Oh yeah, that's the Never Watches on podcast players.
There you go. I don't do the social medias because I'm lazy. But you can find me on the streamings Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Although this week there will be a special Tuesday episode because it was a Tuesday. Because Friday I had to leave early because I vomited my guts up. So I'm making it up on Tuesday. But yes, Monday I do Mayhem Mondays, which is where I shoot things a lot. This episode, or this game, isn't so much really an FPS, but I just kind of want to play it. Like, I don't have any reason, I just want to play it. And then Wednesdays is going to be another one-shot weird game, because we have Weird Game Wednesdays. And then Friday is we're going to continue Resident Evil 8, because it's great. Don't be late. Grab a plate. That's gonna do it for this portion.
Well, I was going to say, expect a stealth split fiction stream in there some point as well. Not sure on the day yet. We've got to discuss.
We'll figure it out. But I think that's going to do it for us.
Yeah.
You guys have been absolutely amazing. We've had a wonderful chat. If you want to be a part of our chat and experience this live as it happens, check us out on twitch.tv/rapid reviews, where we will talk to you. Mostly that. But that's going to do it for us. You guys have been amazing. So we will see you and talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Rapid Reviews Radio podcast. You can find the podcast on Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and various other podcast platforms. You can also find the video version by searching Rapid Reviews on YouTube and watch the podcast recording live on Twitch at twitch.tv/rapidreviews at 7:30 p.m. UK time every Sunday. Please make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter at RRRadiopod, and for all the latest reviews, visit www.rapidreviewsuk.com or on Twitter at RapidReviewsUK.